Fire up.
Right.
Yeah, ready when you are.
Okay, thank you, Chris. Welcome everybody to our annual general meeting for the Cooperative Council's Innovation Network. We've had a fabulous conference over 3 days, huge amount of insight and innovation going on across the network, as we always see. But I think with an added thing this year, because of the way that our councils have responded so magnificently to the COVID crisis and how we've been able to document some of that. I'm sure there'll be more to come, but I want to start our AGM by paying a huge tribute to all our councils for the work that they've done, supporting their communities, the individuals in them, and making sure that the economies, the communities of their places have been looked after, kept safe throughout the COVID lockdown period, and now on into this even more uncertain period where we've got some people still in lockdown, some not so much so, but all of us facing the difficulties of the funding issues that the crisis has caused, and the other issues for our community, whether those are related to health or inequalities, or the changes we need to make to our economies to move things forward. So we've had some really, really good insight into that these last 3 days, and now we go to our annual general meeting, which is looking a little bit more backward over the year that we've just had, but we always use this point in the year to inform what we're going to do going forward. So you should all have your agendas in your papers, whether they're virtual or on bits of paper on your desk like mine are. So welcome to all of the members of our Executive Oversight Committee. I'm going to start with the minutes of the last meeting, and Peter Bradbury's reminded us a couple of times over the last 3 days of the fabulous time we all had in Rochdale back in the BC days before COVID, when we were able to all meet in person and explore the fabulous town hall in Rochdale. So you have the meetings of the last meeting in Rochdale. Can we agree all those as a correct record of our proceedings in Rochdale? Are those all agreed? If you can use the hands up function on Zoom, that would be wonderful. Can we see whether that hands up function's working, Chris? Have we got agreement to the minutes? I can't see anybody objecting to that. If you do have any objections, put them in the Q&A, but it looks as though that's agreed. So thank you for that. And we now... Oh, I'm getting an echo now. I don't know what's happened, Chris, but I'm getting an echo back. So now I'm going to move forward to the review of the year. So if I could have the first slide for the annual review, that would be wonderful. Brilliant. And it really has been a year of two halves. When we left Rochdale, we were motoring onwards with a usual agenda of exciting innovation in the network. And then, as we all know, in March, things changed very drastically for all of us. However, whatever goes on, the values of our network are the lodestone, the compass point for all of us in driving the work that we do forward. And it's always worth reminding ourselves at this time of year that our network is always intended to be action focused, and I think we've demonstrated that again this week with all the wonderful examples we've seen from our councils. Membership based, so it's led and driven by the membership of the network. Open to all UK councils, and we're going to hear about fabulous new members that have been joining us later on. And part of the local government family, so we retain our link in with the Local Government Association through our membership as a special interest group of that association, and that enables us to have that very important link to the national body for local government, which I think is very valuable to all of us in the network. So we're very pleased to have that. So it's always worth restating those objectives of the network. Our governance mechanism remains strong. We have our Executive Oversight Committee. There they all are. Fantastic commitment from all of these councillors to drive our network forward and set the strategic direction for the network, and support the growth and membership of the network in the work that we do. And I'm, extraordinarily grateful. Councillors and council leaders are very busy people, that all of you give up your time to dedicate it to this cooperative mission of ours in the Co-op Councils network is such an important and valuable contribution to what we do. So I'm really grateful to all of you. It's been a great year for the network, as we'll hear, and you've been all there driving that forward. And of course, our wonderful Values and Principles Board. There's the lovely gallery of smiley faces from our Values and Principles Board, led of course by the inimitable Councillor Chris Penberthy, who is our Chair of Values and Principles. But all of you there from across the councils, from our affiliates and associates, from the cooperative movement more widely, making sure that this network stays true to the co-op values that we always intended it to when it was set up all those years ago. So I'm very grateful for your commitment to our values and principles, and for you making sure that the network in itself stays on track with all of that. So a few highlights from this year, and we've had, as I said, in spite of such an uncertain time, we've had a brilliant set of things happen to us during this year. First of all, our membership increase has gone up 350% over the last 3 years. I've been heard many times in public now saying we're the fastest growing network in local government. I can't actually prove that that's true, but I'm pretty sure it is true. And been joined by some very big councils indeed during the last period, and it's great to see the traction that we're getting, and I'm sure that's because of the increasing membership of the network, as well as some great associate and affiliate members joining us. We've launched our dynamic purchasing system. We've had 14 policy prototypes funded in health and social care. Our case studies, which is really the thing that most councillors, when they come to party conferences and to the local government conference, whether they're part of the network or not, will pick up a copy of our case study book because they love to see what other councils are doing and to get the inspiration from what we're doing. We now have 257 case studies on our website and a bumper edition of the case studies pack. We've attended many events before lockdown, including the Liberal Democrat Party conference. We've launched, with the help of our friends in Plymouth, the Co-ops Unleashed report, which has been a great insight into the expansion of a cooperative economy. We ran a conference promoting the Cities of Service model of social action. Just over the last 3 days, we've launched our induction programme produced by the Cooperative College, and we're well into the second phase of that induction programme now. And I hope we'll think of some interesting ways of inspiring the councillors in the councils across the network to take part in that induction programme. And we commissioned an action learning set from COVID-19, working with the cooperative press. And this is a really impressive achievement, to have pulled together all those case studies in the current climate, and to get those produced into the beautiful ebook that we've published during the course of this conference is a very significant achievement. So thank you to all those who have participated in that. And here we are with our current membership now, very significant membership now. So 77 members, 11 supporters, 33 full councils, 17 associate members and 27 affiliates. So a network that is literally going from strength to strength, both in the membership and in the policy work we're driving forward. And that's because of the contributions from all of you that we've been able to do that. So here they are in all their glorious technicolor, all of our member councils with their logos set out. And that line at the top there is I'm so proud of, and it's so impressive. 33 councils, 8.8 million citizens, and 14 billion pounds worth of budget covered by the councils in membership of our network. And that, you know, is such an achievement over the last few years. I don't think even Steve and Jim in their wildest dreams would have imagined seeing our network grow to be the force for good that it now is. And our associate members doing amazing work and really contributing to our case studies. We see all sorts of fascinating things coming through from them. And I mentioned it on Tuesday, but to see Woughton Community Council and meet all of them at the NAUC conference, the National Association of Local Councils conference, and to hear about the great work they're doing, very hands-on work in their community. One of the examples, for example, was a repair shed thing that they've created, and they build small items for sale and repair things, and then people stay there for lunch afterwards. Things that make a real difference in communities, and we're getting those case studies in now from across our associate members. And of course our affiliates really helping us to drive forward the network, bringing some of their perspective into what we do, helping councils that have particular projects they want to get going with an easy to access set of affiliates that we know have their values aligned with the work that we do. And they play an ever increasing part in the work of the network. And I know many of our council members have accessed support and help from these affiliate members. So I'm grateful to all of them as well. And that's a growing part of our network too. So moving on now to some of the work that we've been doing during the year. Our policy labs are member-led projects, looking at, you know, my old phrase, I know it's a bit hackneyed now, you're all fed up of hearing it, but there isn't a single challenge that we face today for which there isn't a cooperative solution. And what our councils are doing are finding those cooperative policy solutions every day of the week out there. COVID's been the biggest and the latest one we've had, but we've seen some absolutely really amazing insight into how the cooperative values we hold have informed responses to that. And our members can apply for a £10,000 from the network to deliver a policy lab. Can be anything from tackling food poverty, putting communities back at the heart of local decision making, but we're open to all ideas, and the more innovative they are, the better. And we've learned so much from the work that's been done in those policy labs so far. I'm sure that will drive us further forward. And then health and social care, our 2020 funded policy prototype projects. 13 projects, you can see all the councils involved in delivering those there. And hopefully, you know, this is a national agenda. We still don't have the green paper on health and social care. And from my personal perspective, I've been pushing very hard to say, please don't reorganise local government until you've worked out what you want to do with health and social care, because that, to me, that doesn't make any sense. It's one of the biggest challenges for right across local government is health and social care. And here are some of our councils developing projects that will inform that agenda going forward. And then the Cooperatives Unleashed document, inspiring councils to develop community businesses, as I said, led by Plymouth City Council, and really informing the work that we all need to do. One of the challenges I've had is I have an enterprise agency that doesn't have a history of supporting cooperatives, and I think it's a challenge for the network going forward. We heard from some of those who are involved in community wealth building yesterday, and a real challenge for the network going forward is how we support the growth of the cooperative economy in our places. And here from Plymouth we have an excellent study of what they've been able to do there, so that's really taken us forward. And here's our action learning set. As I say, an impressive achievement to get this out in the teeth of a pandemic, but some real insights into the member responses, and you know, the diversity of response that's been needed. And I think, if nothing else, our network does show that you can't just pick up something from Stevenage and plant it in Plymouth, and you can't just pick up something in Plymouth and plant it in Cardiff. We have to have our own responses to this, but we can be inspired and informed by what each other are doing. And that's what these action learning sets are all about. At the moment it's an ebook. Nicola and I are discussing whether we want to do some print copies of it, but it's already gone down exceptionally well, not just with our members, but I've seen people picking it up outside the membership as well. So congratulations to all those who've delivered that. And the induction programme that we've developed with Cooperative College, this is really important for us, and it's something that I remember us discussing way back at the very start of the network, how we were going to make sure that if you were a member of a cooperative council, or if you were a member of staff working in a cooperative council, you would have some kind of course that would help you to understand what that meant and why that was different. And we use the hashtag #OurCoopDifference. So it's very important that those working with us and for us understand what the co-op difference is all about. That, you know, that very real engagement with communities to drive forward our policies and practices, and you know, the devolution of decision making to those who are most affected by the decisions we take. So that induction programme, the first phase of it's already been developed. It's there for your councils to use, for your councillors and officers to use, and we're well into the stages of developing the second phase of that training programme now. So if you've got good ideas about how we encourage councillors and officers to use that training programme, please let us know, and we'll be promoting that as we go through the next year. And then of course our fabulous and very popular case studies book, the latest one is just published, and I always have a good read of these. We've got a members room here at Stevenage, and even during COVID I've left copies. Every time I leave copies of these in the members room, they disappear, and that's a very good thing as far as I'm concerned, to see councillors taking an interest in what other councils are doing, and you know, adapting some of the case studies for our own needs. So it's a fabulous document, and you know, gaining a lot of popularity. I get people contacting me now to ask me when the next one's due, and I know Nicola gets lots and lots of requests for them. She often tells me that she'll get a phone call from council saying, can you send me 100 copies? We refer them to the e-link for the booklet if they do that, because obviously we don't want to be chopping down too many rainforests to publish these, although we do produce print copies, but they're available online for everyone. And our dynamic purchasing system, which we introduced in April this year, allowing councillors to bring in extra capacity and specific expertise. And the important thing about this is you can do it quickly and flexibly to enable you to empower our co-op difference as we do things. New suppliers can join at any point over the 5 years, and because all the pre-checking's been done, there are no financial limits on the mini competition process. We worked very hard to get this going because as we have identified over the years of the co-op network, introducing a co-op dimension into your procurement processes is notoriously difficult. We're hoping that it won't always be that way, but this dynamic purchasing system can help with that. So that's there for all our members to use, and it should enable you to access a purchasing system that enables you to enact your co-op difference without too much palaver in terms of the procurement element of that. And here are our DPS suppliers so far. You can see them all up there on the screen, all there ready for you to access through the procurement system that we've devised. And I hope members will use that. It's very important that we use that and support this this system, because we know that all of those providers have the same values and cooperative principles as we do. Moving on to events, obviously the timeline of this is a bit shorter than it normally would be. We go from September to February, when the virtual Perspex screen came up and stopped us from meeting anyone in person, but you can see a lot of activity went on before them. Party conferences in Bournemouth and Brighton, the Thameside Cooperative Summit, the wonderful meeting we had in Rochdale, of course, NOUT conference in Milton Keynes, which if any of you have been to that venue, it's in a football ground, and all the time I was there, you look out onto the football ground when you're in the exhibition area, and I was thinking my grandson, who's 10 and a great football fan, would absolutely die to be there with me, but that's a fabulous venue. Cooperative Party Annual Conference in Glasgow, and then the Cities of Service in Plymouth, and the Growing the New Economy Convention in Oldham. So a whole set of events that we participated in. Obviously you'd see a similar chart for the rest of the year if we hadn't been stricken by COVID. But just to show you some pictures of what went on at those events. There we all are with our lovely case studies books, and they are, I hope we can get back to those soon, because getting out and meeting people, talking about what co-op councils do, is the most powerful way of sharing our knowledge and innovation. So we do hope we'll be able to get back to that soon, but we had a great year before the COVID hit us. Post-COVID events from March to July. Obviously, this has been impacted on by our ability not to be able to get out and about, but we have continued to do as much as we can in virtual events. We've had our COVID-19 recovery planning event, dashboards and indicators, the launch of the first phase of the induction programme, the Co-ops Unleashed report, the COVID-19 economic recovery planning, and the Local Government Association annual conference, which didn't take place in Harrogate this year, but we did have that virtual presence. So you know, even though we've not been able to get out and about, we have been very much present in the local government world. So a fantastic year overall, and as we've heard in the conference earlier, we need to keep those cooperative values and principles as our foundation stone as we work towards a greener, a more compassionate a recovery built on focusing on what we can do for the environment, what we can do in terms of community wealth building, what we do to tackle some of the inequalities that have been exacerbated by COVID, and I think most important of all, building back that hope in our communities that things can and will be better for the future. That lies at the heart of the cooperative movement. It's certainly at the heart of the innovation network, and we all know that we have some challenges ahead, sure, but we have a clear role in building back that hope for the future for all of those in our local communities. So I'll finish that review of the year there. It's been an amazing year, I did end the conference with a huge lot of thank yous to everybody, but I do think this network is very blessed with the support that we get, the support from our executive members, from our values and principles members, from all of the officers and members that participate in our work throughout the year, and from our amazing, the two people that really drive the officer work of the network forward. So Jonathan Downs leading on our financial aspects, and the wonderful Nicola Huckabee, who is one of the wonders of the cooperative and local government world. So thank you so much to all of those people. And the special thank you I did this morning was to the tech team at the Co-op College, because we've seen a lot of glitches appearing even in the very highest level conferences over the last few weeks. We didn't have any of those at our Co-op conference, and we had some amazing technology that took me into the world of breakout rooms and Padlets, which was a word I'd never heard before. And that's you know, that ability to manipulate the technology to allow us to be innovating even in the world of virtual conferences is down to our colleagues at the Cooperative Conference. So at the Cooperative College. So Chris Meadows and your team, you've done an amazing job. So thank you all. And then we're going to move on now to item 4 on our agenda, which is the budget report for 2021. And I'm going to hand over to Jonathan Downs, who's taken a short break from creating the best honey in England to give us our budget report for 2021. Thank you, Jonathan.
Thanks, Sharon. Appreciate that. So good afternoon, everyone. My name's Jonathan Downs. I lead the corporate policy team at Oldham Council, and Oldham Council is also accountable body for the network. So we oversee the network's finances and provide legal and procurement support. I've been ducking in and out of the conference over the past couple of days. We've just found out that we've got an Ofsted inspection starting next week, which is perfect time given everything that's going on. So I've been helping to coordinate some of that. So apologies, I've not managed to touch base with some of you and spend as much time as I would have liked in the conference itself, but it looks like it's been a really fabulous few days. Unfortunately, I have a really, really poor internet connection. I can see the tech support have just asked me to start my video, but if I start my video, there's a really good chance I will disappear altogether. So I'm going to keep it off for now and be really impolite and just talk to the presentation if that's okay with everyone. So the CCIN's financial year runs from the 1st of August to the 31st of July, with membership fees collected between September and October. So we're starting to go out with invoicing for membership now. As the network has continued to grow, as Sharon said, growing faster than any other local government network, we now have 33 full members generating £181,978 worth of fees. 26 affiliate members. At the time when I pulled the budget report together, we had 16 associates, but I can see that's already increased again, and 9 supporters generating £10,850 worth of fees. So we're generating total fees at this moment in time of £192,828. So of course, that's likely to continue to grow over the next couple of years. However, we're also carrying forward funding from last year, meaning a total funding pot in this financial year of £257,155. This carry forward has been in part due to the cancellation of key events that the CCIN would usually attend due to the impact of COVID-19. So in the last financial year, our expenditure is focused primarily on the ongoing management of the network, so totaling £16,474 spend, lower again than predicted due to less travel to promote the network. It's focused on membership support, and we've had, as I've said, a very limited amount of conference expenses, which we attended pre-pandemic, so totaling sort of £2,596. We've also been investing heavily in our members through the policy labs and prototypes that Sharon's talked you through, totalling £35,300, as well as the CCIN's new induction programme. This has given a total expenditure of £129,860. In the next financial year, so 2020-21, we predict that spend is going to increase as we hope to be able to attend more events. We're also looking to improve the functionality of our website. So as more people are starting to use the website and as we've got more content up there, I don't know if anyone's noticed, but it's becoming much slower, much more sluggish. So we're working with our IT support to look at how we can speed that up, potentially moving it to a virtual private server, which will make it much faster and have much better functionality. And of course, there's the intention to continue investing in our members through policy labs and policy prototypes. So hopefully that's a quick and helpful summary of where we're at from a budgetary perspective, and happy to take any questions.
Thank you very much, Jonathan. Has anyone got any questions for Jonathan? You can either use the hand raise function or you can stick them in the Q&A box. I can't see anybody indicating, Jonathan. I'm just going to check the hands up function, sorry. Oh, Clive Fraser has a hand up. Is that for a question to Jonathan, Clive?
Yeah, it's a mistake. I didn't mean to have my hand up.
Okay, thank you. All right, can we then agree the budget report back from Jonathan? Is that agreed? Please use your hands raise function or just type agreed in the chat box. That would be great. Oh, lots of hands up. That's brilliant. Okay. That's wonderful. Thank you all very much. It now falls to us to launch the 2021 funding round. Have we got a slide for this, Nicola? There we go. Look at that. So we start now to launch our 2021 policy labs, an open call for Building Back Greener policy labs. There's some of the ideas that we've already had in relation to what some of those bids might look like. Clearly, we do want to see as much innovation in these bids as possible. We look forward to getting some great ideas in for those. We've also had an idea from Councillor Adam Farrell about working more closely with the Co-op Party and providing cooperative training for opposition councillors. And that idea has been suggested also by Councillor Dennis Jones from Peterborough. So we've added that in, and that's there at number 8, as you can see. They've come up over the course of the conference. So thank you very much, Adam and Dennis, for making your contribution to this. We will be launching that call for bids for policy labs after the AGM, and I think we've decided this year, as our membership is growing, to be fair to everybody, we will we'll ask for one bid from each council. So I think that will enable us to make sure that we share that work around. And it's good that we've, because we haven't been going to conferences this year, we're able to spread a little bit more funding around the policy labs and prototypes for this year. So I think that's a very good thing. And we'll be focusing the policy labs on the Building Back Greener recovery programme. So next slide, please. And then we have our policy prototypes for 2021. This is an area that we haven't seen many bids for policy labs or prototypes in the past, but we had some discussion this morning in the session with Steve Reed around the approaches to children and young people's services that are driven by cooperative values, and how we're interested to see whether some policy prototypes come forward to look at how that cooperative development impacts on those young lives in our communities. So we've set our policy prototypes title this year as Children and Young People Services, and I hope we'll get lots of creative ideas for those policy prototypes. Thank you. And now I'm going to hand over to the wonderful Chris Penberthy from Britain's Ocean City of Plymouth to report back on the work of our Values and Principles Board. Over to you, Chris.
Thanks a lot, Sharon, and Tudor would be very proud for that mentioning of Britain's Ocean City, so thank you for that too. I think the Values and Principles Board is a really important part of CCIN, and something that I'm really proud to be able to chair. Just wanted to give everyone a bit of a sort of flavour for the things that we've been involved in over the last year. And I'm not going to talk about governance elections, so that's just appeared on my screen. So, it's been a busy year for us. I think each year I say that, and each year we seem to get busier. One of the things that we really do is that we help to shape what CCIN do. So when ideas come in from members and from the EOC, we quite often get asked to put a values and principles spin on things, so that we make sure that we've got values and principles ingrained in everything we do from the very beginning, rather than trying to just bolt them on afterwards. And I think that's a really important way of us working. It means that we are able to do more. And I'd like to thank all of our members who work not only hard in meetings, but actually do quite a lot between meetings. Our membership comes from our full associate and affiliate members. We also have 5 dedicated seats for the cooperative movement, who might not be members, and 1 for the TUC. This year, I'm really pleased that we've been able to add Joe White from Cooperative Futures to Values and Principles to take the 5th of those co-op sector seats, particularly bringing the perspectives of worker co-ops. It's not a representation function, but just so that we can begin to think about what that might mean for all of our work. I'd also like to congratulate Sue Woodward, who was elected as our vice chair this year, and Sue's been a great help to me as we take on a lot of work, and she's been leading on some of the bits that we've been doing with and for the network. One of our key areas of work is on those policy labs and prototypes. We get involved in scoping what should come in next. We also look at all the applications, but then once they're approved, we're the ones who sort of keep an eye on things going through, making sure EOC is informed, but being critical friends to those people who are working on stuff, and making sure that we maximise the cooperative values and principles and the innovation elements of those labs. So we're currently looking at things from, I think, 2017, 18, 19 and 20, because there's still work happening on a lot of those, and that's really positive. And we've been involved in the planning for 2021. Once those get launched, we'll start thinking about what 2022 should hold. I would encourage people to bid. Last year we had an allocation of 40 policy prototypes, and we were only able to put out 13, I think, because people didn't apply for them. So please do think creatively about what you could do. It'd be great to see more members engaging in that and working across our membership in doing that. In terms of care, one of the things we've looked at is the policy prototypes and how we maximise the impact of those. So we are currently going out to the DPS, and we're fine-tuning the work, but we're going to put in some additional support for all of those policy prototypes that will bring it all together. And at the LGA conference next year, we'll be launching all of that work so that we actually put forward some of those propositions to government about how we need radical change and what that means from a cooperative perspective. We've also been doing work through the DPS on the asset transfer work that we've been working on with Newcastle, and that should be coming out in 2021, early in 2021. So there's more stuff coming, and there's a lot of work there. I think one of the things for all of us as members is the ability to be engaged and to support members, but also to learn and share that learning. And the cooperative sector members of V&P are really, really important in all of that. we are particularly at the moment looking at how we can improve, according to our work plan, the inter and intra relationships of our members and the movement. In Principle 6, that would be cooperation between cooperatives. And Sue has been doing a lot of that with Michael from People 2, and I'd really like to thank them on their work. We've already got some extra WhatsApp groups up and running, and the fringes for specific parts of our membership at this conference were part of that. So we're looking at how we add value to the network. During the year, we've reviewed all of the applicants to the DPS. That took quite a lot of reading, but we were really keen to make sure that anyone who was on the DPS got what we were about. So, you know, it is ongoing, it's exciting, and I think that's been positive. It's going to be another busy year next year. We can see that, and half of our members will be up for election. We do a election by halves to values and principles to make sure that we get some continuity, because so many of our projects we are actively engaged in, and that way we're able to do things through working groups and other actions. So for those members who might be standing down, retiring, or be defeated in election, a big thank you to all your work, and to any who might join us. We look forward to working with you. But it's been a great year. I think it's been a fantastic year for the network. And what we are showing is that values and principles underpinning the work of local government makes a real and radical difference to the lives of the people that we serve and the people we work with. It's great to be doing with and not to, and I think CCIN is at the very forefront of that. So thanks for everything all of you do. Thanks for everyone on V&P, and we look forward to an exciting year ahead as well. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chris, and a personal thank you to you for your leadership of V&P over the last year. As you say, it's been a very busy year for our Values and Principles Board, and I've already had some really great feedback about the fringe meetings that were held for those specific areas of membership of the network. We had separate fringes for the officer network, for opposition members, in our associate membership, and town and parish council members, and those fringes and for our affiliate members, sorry, and those fringes have been greatly appreciated because of the networking they offer and the opportunity to speak to other like-minded councillors and members to discuss matters that you've got in common. So I think that's been a great driver from the V&P board to get that together, and thank you to Sue for pushing that forward, and to all of our members of V&P for all the work they do throughout the year. Obviously, one of the key principles of anything with co-op at the front of it has to be democracy, and the Co-op Councils Innovation Network takes that very seriously. So we do have elections for EOC and VOP and V&P. So Jonathan's just going to take us quickly through what that means for us for these next set of governance elections.
Thanks, Sharon. So yeah, elections for the CCIN Executive Oversight Committee take place every 2 years. So the last election happened in, I think it was November 2018. So we're now seeking nominations from members for the Exec Oversight Committee for November 2020 to November 2022. So nominations and self-nominations for candidacy are open to leaders and portfolio holders from full member councils. If less than 8 nominations are received, nominees are automatically appointed to the committee. If we receive more than 8 nominations, we then have to go into a small election where ballot papers consisting of a list of the people who have nominated themselves are sent to full member councils to vote on. There's also 1 place available for an associate member representative and an affiliate member representative on the committee. Again, if 1 nomination is received in either category, they're automatically appointed to the Exec Oversight Committee. If more than 1 nomination is received in either category, again, ballot papers are distributed and there's a vote. Each network member, so full councils, associates and affiliates, all have one vote, and they submit that vote anonymously to Oldham Council as accountable body for the network. Once a maximum of 8 network members have been elected, there's then a vote independently on the position of chair and vice chair, and that's a first past the post election model. And the post of chair and vice chair will always be from a full member council. So we're opening up nominations very soon. You'll see an email, I think, is it going out today, Nicola? Oh yes, I can see it on the slide. It's going out today, and there's a deadline of the 30th of October for nominations. And following that, as Chris has said, once the EOC elections have happened, the B&P elections, the Values and Principles Board elections can happen, though that only happens in 50% of members are elected. So you'll see details coming out in your inboxes later today. Please do submit nominations. It's a really, really important part of the network's governance, and I look forward to seeing you all, seeing all the nominations coming through. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jonathan. Just one request from me: when the V&P elections are done, I think it's really helpful when the information goes out that we remind people, those who are staying on V&P, because they elect by in 50% at a time. We don't want people to not remember and think they've got to put themselves forward for election when they're not actually up this time. So when that goes out, it can go out with an indication of who is remaining on the V&P board for another year. That would be really helpful. Okay. The next item on the agenda is looking forward to Telford 2021. Nicola, did you want to say anything about this? I presume we're not going to be able to confirm this for a little while yet, but we'll do our best to make sure we all get to Telford next year.
I think that we had a brilliant presentation at the end of the conference from Councillor Caroline Healy, and there's nothing more to be said. We've all got our fingers crossed that there is a vaccine over the next few months, and that we will all be able to hug each other and see each other in person in that beautiful part of the world.
Yeah, I hope so, and I hope I'll be able to teach you how to eat your scones the right way round, Nicola. Controversial statement. When we go to Telford in 2021, I can't wait for that. I hope we can get there. It's a beautiful part of the world, and I know that Sean and the team at Telford and Carolyn are very keen that we are able to travel there next year, but to a certain extent we're in the lap of the gods on this, so we'll wait and see what happens, and just keep everything crossed that we will get to Telford next year. So moving on to any other business now. If you have any other business, if you want to indicate in the chat box, if you just say I'd like to speak, and I'll keep an eye on the chat box and make sure that anyone gets the opportunity to say whatever they want to. Or if you want to use the raise hand function, feel free to do that. I'll keep an eye on that as well. I'm just going to have a quick look and see if anyone's raising their hand. I can't see any raised hands. So I'll assume that everyone's content and happy. I hope you've all enjoyed the conference over the last 3 days, but there will be an opportunity to feed back to us. We're a learning organisation, like all good cooperatives, and if there are things you think we can do better, please let us know. And we want our conferences to be driven by what our members value and want to happen. So do give us your feedback on conference, and also, if you've got brilliant ideas about how we can shape our conference in the future, or for items that we can put on our agenda, and also speakers. We're always looking for speakers to come to conference and tell us about, give us more insight into the work we do. So if you've got any ideas for that, just please let us know. You can email Nicola or myself, and we'll make sure that we flag that up when we're getting ready to prepare next year's conference. Our network is nothing without the member councils, the associate members and the affiliate members that we really value and treasure. And it is those members that make this network the huge success that it is. So thank you all to you. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your patience with the technology. We're all getting used to this, but thank you for supporting us doing a virtual conference this year. And I very much look forward to seeing you all in Telford in 2021. Those of you who are members of the Executive Oversight Committee, that will be open from 2:30 for members to join. The meeting starts at 3 o'clock, so do join us for the Executive Oversight Committee later on. And thank you once again to all of those who have contributed to the work of the network over the last year. It's been a phenomenal success, and I'm really, really proud of what we're doing. So thank you all. And our co-op difference is really making a difference. Thank you.
Could I, Sharon, on behalf of everybody else, the whole network, just say thank you from the bottom of our hearts for all the effort that you put into promoting the network. It's grown phenomenally since you took over as chair, and you're a brilliant ambassador for us and the sector. So thank you very much indeed.
Oh, thank you, Nicola. I couldn't do any of it without you, as you know. Thank you, everyone. See some of you later. Thank you.